Welcome back. Kenyan health authorities have ordered the closure of 2 hotels in the capital, Nairobi, following a cholera outbreak. Officials say 4 people have died from the disease since May and more than 300 cases reported. The health ministry acted after dozens of people, including 2 cabinet ministers, were admitted to hospital after eating food prepared by the 2 hotels. Health Minister Cleopa Melu says the facilities will remain closed until they comply with new health and safety standards. The ministry has also cancelled the medical certificates of all food handlers across the country and formed a task force to oversee the government's response to the outbreak. 6 treatment centres have been set up, mainly in informal settlements, as the city tries to stop the spread of the disease. The Ghanaian government has announced that it will not extend its 3-year aid program with the International Monetary Fund beyond April 2018, but the IMF has urged the country to soft pedal to allow enough time to complete the program's goals. President Nana Akufo-Addo's announcement is a surprise turnaround after government officials said last month that Ghana is considering a request by the Washington lender to extend the program to December 2018. Analysts say an extension would have reassured markets of the government's commitment to fiscal discipline.
Question of the IMF program being extended. The IMF program, which comes to an end technically in April next year, is going to be completed by this government along the terms on which it is, because there's been a certain amount of renegotiation of the program has taken place already since we came into office to be able to accommodate our perspectives and our policies. But it is coming to an end next year with the budget that is going to be prepared this year. We have to continue to work to bring down the cost of borrowing, to enable businesses to have access to much needed credit. It is my hope and expectation that these statistics will soon translate into tangible benefits in the lives of Ghanaians.
Authorities involved in the eradication of polio in Yobe State, northeast Nigeria, have been appraising the immunization exercise and the possibility of maintaining a polio-free status for the state. The meeting brought together the 17 local government chairmen, development partners, political leaders and doctors from primary healthcare agencies.
We are very well satisfied because that shows that we have been doing our work properly, but that's not the end. As long as there is polio in Nigeria, we are still vulnerable. So we will continue to do more to ensure that we stop polio not only coming from Yobe, from other neighboring states, and that will be done by ensuring that we are handling the border cases and the ones that we do outreach in the motor parks and the checkpoints, so that those commuting in and around Yobe State will be captured and immunized.
Still in Nigeria, warring communities in Cross River States in the south-south region of the country have agreed to sheathe their swords. They've also signed a peace accord that's expected to make them live together without rancor. Facilitator of the deal, Chris Agara, says he will work with the government to address the root cause of the clash. A long walk for peace, signaling the end of communal fighting between Ababene and the Yamite communities. Finally, they can all sleep with their eyes closed as they gather to settle their differences and chart a new course together for growth. The exchange of goats is a common feature here to show that indeed they can tolerate one another. And then the elders exchange pleasantries.
It is the youth that will build a nation tomorrow. If they go into a drug addict, then they jump into fighting themselves. It is they themselves who will go and kill themselves, and by tomorrow we will not have governors. Chris was a youth. I and myself was a youth. If we have killed ourselves when we were young, we will not be here. So let the youth be away from crime.
I have advised the youth that today, because if even the youth they themselves know that this crisis is not supposed to happen again, because they are the people who used to suffer.
The facilitator of the peace agreement, Chris Agara, wants the people to live together, assuring them that he would work with the government officials to address the root cause of the problem.
Oh, I'm very excited. You can see yourself, all the chiefs, all the youths, the women, the children, everybody. And the response is unprecedented. And I think the reason why it is so is because everybody loves peace. Everybody wants peace. Some people are forced to do what they are not doing, not because they like it, but because because of the circumstances. But all that now has ended and there is peace now.
What we have succeeded in doing is to make sure that we bring peace to these communities. Next thing we're going to take now, when this communique is going to be properly implemented, is to move the other communities from there to visit this one and visit the other communities that other way, so that there will be visitations. Our aim is simple. We just want peace. Obubra has been so maligned. Obubra is one of the oldest local government areas. And for us to have development, there is need for us to get going. And these are the reasons why we decided to bring this vote today, and what you're seeing has happened.
With these two communities taking the lead, there are hopes that other warring communities in the state will follow the path of peace to end incessant killings arising from communal clashes. Finally, on the program, the United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Stephen O'Brien, has visited Bangassou in the Central African Republic, where thousands of Muslims were displaced in May after attacks by Christian militias. In recent months, roaming militias from the Muslim Seleka and Christian anti-Balaka have stepped up violence despite pledges to take part in a government-led disarmament program. Take a look.
The United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Stephen O'Brien, says conflict in the Central African Republic has reached terrible proportions during his visit to Bangassou in the southeast of the country. Mr. O'Brien spoke to people who are among 2,000 mostly Muslim civilians taking shelter on the grounds of a cathedral after violence between Muslim Seleka rebels and the anti-Balaka Christian militia broke out in May in the diamond mining town of Bangassou, about 730 kilometers east of the capital, Bangui. Muslims were chased out of a mosque where they'd sought refuge during the fighting.
We have seen this new development here in CAR of now a more religious and even ethnic dimension to it, which was not the case when I was here 2 years ago. And this is very serious. So here in Bangassou, we have evidence of why we have a deteriorating situation, but already very good work being done by the humanitarians, both in the UN and our partners beyond. We need to build on that, which is why we so desperately need to now really raise the cash in order to help people who are in desperate need.
The government has basically no control of the regions outside the capital, Bangui, allowing militia to roam free. Doctors Without Borders recently suspended operations in Zemio, that's about 1,000 kilometers east of the capital, after militants shot dead a baby in a hospital housing thousands of displaced people. The recent fighting in Bangassou and the towns of Alendao and Braya has uprooted more than 100,000 people in the worst displacement since 2013. And the escalating violence is cutting off access to those civilians most needing help.
If you're seeing us now, with my brothers next to me, you already have the answer to what you have just asked. It's already been more than 2 months that we are here on this side. And as you can see, women and children are still sleeping on the verandas. Our living conditions are very, very, very painful. Where we are, our living conditions are truly deplorable.
Thousands have died and a fifth of the Central Africans have fled their homes in a conflict that broke out after the Seleka ousted President Francois Bozize in 2013, provoking a backlash from the anti-Balaka. The UN mission has 13,000 peacekeepers on the ground, but the UN base in Bangassou has also been targeted, prompting the deployment of extra troops to the remote town in May. Several UN peacekeepers from Morocco and Cambodia were killed in May by Christian anti-Balaka attackers, and about 8 were wounded.
That's Network Africa. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Joka Rogers.